Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to be placing a sphere in two-point perspective. To do so, I need to put it inside of a cube. And I need to find the 6 sides of the cube as well as its interior planes. It's a complicated two-point perspective drawing, so let's get started and let's see how well we do. I am going to use a red pencil to mark my horizon line. I'm going to start with a graphite pencil to draw out my box that I'm going to put my sphere in, and I will be reinforcing each side with a different color so that we can kind of keep the cube straight. I'm going to place the cube low in my picture plane so that we see the top plane, so that again we can put a sphere inside of that. So I made a vertical line. I'm going to point the edges of that vertical line towards my 2 vanishing points. It is important to really stay consistent with our vanishing points and make sure that our pencil's correctly pointed to them every time. Otherwise, it can really start to distort our sphere. So I'm going to decide how wide I want this cube to be. It might not end up being a perfect square. It might end up being more of a rectangle, which could shape our cube to be either a real sphere or an elliptic form. So I'm going to take the width that I decided the cube would be and point it to its opposite vanishing points. And now I'm going to start by making the cube transparent. So I'm going to make the cube transparent before I start really diving into its sides. So I'm going to take the bottom of the right side of that cube and point it towards the left vanishing point. The left side of the cube pointed towards the right vanishing point. Excuse me. And then I'm going to use a vertical line to connect the top of the cube and the interior of that cube, giving me all 6 sides. The back, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 4 sides, top and bottom. Now what I need to do is I need to find the center and middle lines of every single one of those sides. So I'm going to start in the back because it's a little bit easier to see. And I'm going to take this back side. I'm going to reinforce it with a light blue. And I'm going to find its middle. To do that, I need to put 2 diagonal lines through the trapezoid that it takes up. So I'm going to put 2 lines, which are going to give me the middle of that form. I'm going to point the middle of that form towards its opposite vanishing point, getting the middle of that entire trapezoidal form. And then I'm going to use a vertical line that's parallel to these 2 lines to get the middle of that form. And now I need to do that to all of the other sides. I'm going to start with this back side, then I will do the bottom, the top, and the 2 front sides. I'm going to now do the bottom. Let's use this reddish color. I'm going to find the middle. And for this one, I'm going to take the middle to the left vanishing point, and then I will take the middle to the right vanishing point. It also reminded me that I'm actually missing the vertical line for the green trapezoid. So I'm going to add that back in. Just missed it. Nose doing it. Here we go. Okay, so now I have the two interiors in the bottom. Let's do the top. For the top, I'm going to use like a yellowish color. I'm going to find the middle. I'm going to take one side of the middle and point it towards one vanishing point. I'm going to take the other and point it towards the other vanishing point. Notice that all of these are starting to connect. That's good. Now I need to do the two fronts. I'm going to use a red for this side. And again, all the colors are just there's so many lines that it's just kind of hard to keep track of what's what if you're only using one color. You can absolutely try it with just a graphite pencil and work lightly. But this was my solution to try to make it less confusing, something that's already a little bit of a mind puzzle, like a little mind twister, tongue twister, but for your mind. Ooh, my center line's a little bit off. Let's see if, I wonder what I did here. That's a little better, but I do think that my middle line is actually probably right because it aligns with everything else. It's going to be okay. That line should have just been just a little bit to that way, to the right. All right, and let's use a dark blue and do this side. So you want all of the lines to match up with the other side. So what I mean by that is like, well, let me just finish this one and I'll show you. I'm going to find the middle of this form. So I want this and this line to connect, and it should connect through the middle of this. It's not quite there. I wonder why. Something's just a little off. Always frustrating when that happens. I'm going to connect these two anyway, because I think that where I'm off is probably, I don't know, somewhere in here. Like all these lines should be converging right on top of each other. So that it just means that I am off slightly with one of them. Not sure exactly where. I'm going to put another line here just so there's something about maybe the top of this yellow one that's a little bit off. I'm not totally positive. Let's see if I can reinforce it. Maybe like that. So, why are we doing this? So we're doing this because within each one of these planes that we just created, we need to find the middle, and we need to also find the interior planes of this cube, which is where it gets really complicated. So let me just show you the points that we have so far. So we have the top, middle, we have the bottom middle, we have the exterior right, we have the exterior left, we have the back left, and we have the back right. So all of those points are important for us to be able to create a sphere. The other two planes that we need to emphasize so that we can see better is the middle of this entire cube horizontally and the middle of this entire cube vertically. So we actually need to reinforce those, and we need to find their centers as well. So I'm going to use a dark pencil and reinforce those so we can start to see this interior plane, the plane that's inside of the cube, this way. And I'm going to find the middle of that. I'm going to take the middle and point it to the vanishing point. And it should actually go through both of these points as well, like that. And then vertically, and it should go through the top and bottom line as well, which it does. And now we have that middle vertical plane, and we need to get the horizontal one. Let me see if I can grab another dark pencil. Maybe I'll actually get this one. And we're going to do the center horizontal plane. And then we need to find the middle of that. And we need to point it to the vanishing point, which should connect these points, the exterior points, which is great. Okay, so now I have all the planes that I need to make a sphere. So as we're creating a sphere inside of this, we are basically thinking about the fact that each one of these sections is basically a square or rectangle, depending on how we drew our vertical line and the width of this object. The sphere could either be a perfect sphere or it could be an elliptic sphere. So we taken the sides of each one of these, found the middle, found the horizontal middle, found the vertical middle. And now what we need to do is we need to put a circle or a sphere inside of these, but not on the exterior, but instead the connecting planes. But basically what we're going to do is from one apex to the top apex, we're going to put an arc, and then we're going to connect that and create an arc from the top apex to the right apex, from the right apex to the bottom apex, and on the other side as well, to put a sphere or a circle inside of that form. So we need to do that, but with each one of the sides of this cube. So what does that mean exactly? Actually, I'm missing one other direction. I apologize. So we created vertically this way, the slice on the interior, horizontally, but there's actually one more plane that's here that's going towards that vanishing point. Let's make sure we get that before we continue because we're gonna need it. So this interior plane is also important. And we're going to find the middle of that. So many lines. But everything is matching up nicely. So now we have the center, we have the top, we have the back two sides and the front two sides and the bottom. So inside of the three planes that I just created, that one that's slicing towards this vanishing point, the one that's slicing the middle towards this vanishing point, and the horizontal one, we need to put a circle like this. So I need to go from, if I'm working on this plane, this interior plane that's right here, I need to go from this apex, the most outside edge of that vertical plane, and I need to go to this top dot. Then I need to curve an arc towards this dot. Then I need to curve an arc towards the bottom one, and then back towards this one. So let's do it. So ignore all the other dots and just concentrate on these two, from this corner to that dot, from this one to the bottom one. Okay, so now we need to do it in this direction. So thinking about the plane that's going towards this vanishing point. So that ends up being this dot and this dot gets an arch, this dot and this dot gets an arch, this dot and the bottom one, and the side. And so you want to make sure that you're curving those arcs correctly, or, as much as you can. Gonna look a little bit funky. And then we need to also do it to this middle slice. So from this dot to this dot, the one in the back, from this dot to this dot, from this dot to this dot, from this dot to that dot. And again, we're making a nice big arc. It's going to look a lot like this one, but in pictorial space. This one's a little bit hard just because sometimes I gotta make sure that I'm looking at it correctly. Okay, so now I have, and maybe I can reinforce them. Probably should have used a slightly different color. But now I have these three slices. One that's going in that direction, and one that's going in this direction. And now I have to find their exterior. So this is as if I took a circle and I broke it into its middle, vertical, left, vertical, right, and then sliced it in the middle. And now I actually need to go in and connect the exterior kind of skin almost of where that sphere would actually be. So anywhere I drew that orange, I need to basically connect and think about, okay, how is that going to curve around that form to start to identify that whole form. I'm going to just go back over it in black so we can really see that exterior of the sphere. It's a really fun mental challenge. Sometimes it's just the hardest part is just seeing it and thinking about it. I'm also going to redraw this middle line because I think that maybe I'll redraw all of them so we can see how we can really see the middle of that sphere now. And then we can see this side, slicing and coming all the way through on the interior. And then in the other direction too. So I hope that you have fun doing this. Really just think that there's 6 sides to a cube. Find that center middle of those sides to the left and to the right and to the middle, and then connect the dots and you'll be able to draw a sphere in 2-point perspective. Maybe I'll just fill it in for us so that we can really see it. But thank you guys for watching. I have some other perspective videos and of course videos on all kinds of drawing materials. So please feel free to watch them and subscribe for more. All right, there's a sphere and 2-point perspective. Thank you.